Donald Trump, of course, can always be relied on to have the worst take on anything that happens and to pour gasoline on a fire that's already burning. And so we have another example of that. So as the initial information about the woman in Minneapolis who was murdered is coming in, this is what he posts on True Social. And I know I say this a lot, but this might be maybe one of the worst things he's done there. I don't know, the Rob Reiner stuff was pretty bad, pretty diluted, pretty deranged. Look at this. I have just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis. Okay, so the cover story is that he saw the video, so bear that in mind. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator. She wasn't. And the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. The rest of it is all bad, but let's pause there for a second. If you're a conservative, you're watching this. She ran over him. He's in the hospital. He might not survive. Do you believe that is true? I mean, you've seen the video. I know that you're all saying that she tried to hit him, which is also false. But Trump says he just watched the video and the guy was run over by the car, and I don't know if he can live based on the injuries he sustained. By the way, the video of him after it going on, he's just walking around, he's strutting, he's finally achieved his biggest life goal, which is shooting a woman in the face. He then flees the scene, by the way. He's not taken to a hospital. He flees the scene, which again, you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to take the firearm that you just used in a lethal shooting and then flee to, I don't know, mess with it a little bit, mess with your body cam footage. I don't know. All that's left off. Trump doesn't care about that because obviously he was never gonna care about this woman. But he lies to his base that she ran over the man. He hasn't retracted that. He was pressed on this, by the way, this morning in a press conference. He didn't retract any of it. He asserts that he is just as right today as he was yesterday about all of that, Yaz. And I don't know if it's because, if it's literally the brain rot that he has. I don't know if he realizes that he can effectively rhetorically shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and there'll be no consequences for it. But that's one of the most insane lies I've ever seen from a president in my life. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, how can he say that, right? And insinuate that he saw the video, and I mean, not insinuate it, he said it. He said that he saw the video and that's what he saw. Like, that's what you saw, that's what your eyes saw when you watched that video. Like, then we can't trust you. We can't trust anything that you say. We can't trust your account of anything. And the thing is that the thing that's so frustrating about all of this is that it has been 10 years with this man now, over 10 years. We should know by now that we can't trust anything that he tells us. We should know by now that he has no problem lying to an entire nation of people, to the entire world even. He has no problem going on record in written form and lying to millions or billions of people, right? So I don't know why anybody still listens to him, especially when it's so easy to just go for yourself and watch that video. But the worst people who support him are the ones who are going to say, I don't need to watch it myself. He said that's what happened, and I can't believe that woman ran over that ICE agent. She must be a radical, hateful, leftist woman, the worst kind of person in this country. And what was sad is that when he said in his True Social post that this woman ran over the ICE agent, I watched the video and I was like, where? Like, and I was like looking, I was like, oh, maybe she like ran over his toes or something. But then I was like, that's ridiculous, because that's not what he said. Right? And I shouldn't even be listening to anything that he's saying because it's ridiculous, right? Nothing happened remotely like that. And you're absolutely right to point out the fact that she was getting mixed signals from, like, what were there, like 2 or 3 ICE agents at her door. One of them was trying to open her door, telling her to get out of her car. The other one was telling her to drive away. And then when she did one of those things, we all know what happened after that, and there's really just no way to justify it. And this is why we keep hearing calls to abolish ICE, not to reform ICE, not to tweak ICE, but just to get rid of them altogether, because they're the ones terrorizing our communities. And no amount of like incremental change is going to help here, because the whole thing is rotten to its core and it needs to be scrapped, start over. Whatever the initial purpose of ICE was, we have so lost the plot so far that we need to just scrap it and start over.
100%. And as many people are noting online, abolishing ICE is the moderate position. We need to go way further than that.
Yeah.
Obviously that cop should be arrested. All the cops, by the way, that stopped doctors from getting to her, they should also be arrested. They should rot in jail. But you know what, that's like me being a lib or whatever. I should be more bipartisan, okay? I'm being too just leftist or whatever. We need to give some of the perspective of right wingers. So I'm gonna extend an olive branch. The guy that shot her, I'm generally, historically, I've been against capital punishment. I'm willing to make an exception. He should be put to death by the state for what he did. And he seems really into guns, so I think a firing squad would be quite appropriate. If he loves the idea of state violence, and all of you right wingers who are loving it, you're delighting in it online right now, let's get a little bit more of it. Let's get this guy who needlessly invaded this community, murdered this woman, he should be put to death by the state. We could end capital punishment after that, but I think that it's perfectly fair for him to die as a result of what he did. And the rest of them definitely jail. Maybe she could have been saved if they had allowed medical personnel to assist her. They chose not to do that. Every one of them chose to do what they did, and so they should suffer the consequences for it. Anyway, on top of Trump, let's just quickly say JD Vance is doing all this performative stuff. So he says every congressional Democrat and every Democrat who runs for president should be asked a simple question. Do you think this officer was wrong in defending his life against a deranged leftist who tried to run him over? Okay, well, I would say every Republican that runs for office should say, when he was on the side of the car, like directly to the side of it, should he have pulled the trigger twice and shot her in the head multiple times? Do you think that he should have done that? But I also want to reassure everyone, because one of the things I've been going around, I understand we're going way long in this. That's just what's going to happen. A lot of people are saying this is a moment where video evidence is out there and America is coming to two very different conclusions. They see different things in the video. And that sounds really bad, but I want to reassure you that it's actually worse than that, because we are not looking at the video and seeing different things. We see the same thing and then they're lying about it performatively for partisan gain. JD Vance does not think that she was trying to run him over. Trump, if he thinks anything, if he's capable of thinking anything, doesn't think that. All the right-wing media, they do not actually think that. They think she was trying to leave, she was executed, and that's great. They do not think a domestic terrorist needed to be killed. They think this woman, who I guess donated to Bernie Sanders once, should be killed by the state because she interfered with ICE. And you should just submit. You should always submit. These guys love the idea of submitting to a man in uniform. And they think that everyone should do that. And if you don't do that, you should be killed. And so that's darker than just coming to different conclusions, but that is actually what is going on. And by the way, Megyn Kelly doesn't think that this woman deserves to be killed, but she knows that if she doesn't say that, her audience will leave. All of them are captured by their audience that desires blood, constant blood. People throw around the terms of a death cult. We are seeing it. This is what we mean when we say that MAGA is a death cult. They love the idea that people that disagree with them are once again being killed by the movement.